In this video, we want to factor by grouping. And what I want to do here is to take a look at how do I do that. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take the first term and you want to multiply by the last term. You'll notice I'm using that last term as -5. So that really gives me negative 40x to the second. Okay. Then you're going to say, what two terms would multiply to give me negative 40x to the second, but will add to give me negative 3x? So I need two terms that when I multiply them together, I get negative 40x to the second. And when I add them together, I get negative 3x. Now, while I'm thinking about that, I'm going to create some space here. I've got to have two spaces here. And you'll notice that I wrote the first term and I wrote the last term, but I didn't write the one in the middle because I'm going to replace that term in the middle with these two terms that I get. So that multiply to give me negative 40x to the second and add to give me negative 3x. So that's going to be negative 8x and positive 5x. So think about it. If I multiply them together, that gives me negative 40x times x to the second. But if I add negative 8x and 5x, I get negative 3x. Okay, so now I've replaced the middle term with these two terms. Now let's look at the first two. What do the first two terms have in common? They have an 8x, right? So I'm going to put an 8x out in front of a parentheses. And then I'm going to take the first term, and I'll divide by 8x. Then I'll take the second term and I'll divide it by 8x. Now let's do the same thing with the last two terms. We have 5x minus 5. What do they have in common? They have that 5 in common, don't they? So I'm going to put that 5 in front of a parentheses, and then I'm going to divide the 5x by 5 and the 5 by 5. That's a lot of 5s there. Now we just need to simplify. So I've got 8x still outside this parentheses, and inside the parentheses, 8x to the second divided by 8x is just an x. And then I've got, we'll use this minus here, 8x divided by 8x, that's 1. Okay, now I've got plus 5. And now 5x divided by 5 is x, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. Do you see how those two parentheses are the same? That has to happen if grouping is going to work. And so what we do is we use the parentheses that is the same. And then you remember these things that we pulled out? Those go in the second parentheses. And that's how factoring by grouping works.